and am I ever going to have this life that I have, that I've dreamed about, that I've wanted, that I thought that I was working toward? I'm a creative person, so I've been a musician and I write, but the music part has been a very big part of my life since I was a young child. I sing and then I started playing the piano, started playing the guitar, and then went to college for music. That was my first love, my passion. And then I became a young mother. I became a mother a week after my 18th birthday with my son. He is now 33. And I have four children. I'm divorced now, but I was a single mother for a while and I was broke. I broke at many points, but with the help of my parents keeping my kid, I moved out of their house but they helped take care of him and I was able to get my degree. And then I made the decision to get married about a year or so after that and had three more children. So by the time I was 30, I had four children and those children were young. And I did not know what I was going to do with my life. I had an undergraduate degree in English, had majored in writing and broadcasting. I wanted to do, but I graduated during a recession and I was not able to find the kind of job that I wanted. So I was thinking, am I ever going to have this life that I have, that I've dreamed about, that I've wanted, that I thought that I was working toward? And my ex-husband, my husband at the time was doing well in his career, but I was with the children and I made the decision that I did not want to throw my kids away, so to speak. There were a lot of women who were working and struggling and not struggling financially, but struggling with taking care of kids. And I had so many children. I had a lot of kids. And so I talked to my ex-husband. I went to graduate school and I had a mentor who was at my church. She was an evangelist. She, God rest her soul, but she was an evangelist who was a teacher turned technical writer. And she told me, I said, I don't know what I want to do. She said, because I was a marketing communications writer at the time and there wasn't a lot of money in and the field was oversaturated with people who were doing the same thing. And I was like, you know what? I need to do something different. And she said, "Well, you can do technical writing because that adds a little bit of money." Which she said, but anything that has anything to do with computers, that's what you want to do. And this was 1997 when she told me. So I went to IIT where she had gone for her certificate in technical writing years ago. And I found out that they had developed that program into a master program in technical communication, information design, and human computer interaction. And I took her advice and took a class. I started my master's degree and then I took a class in usability testing. And that's where my love for user experience and everything came to, that's how it was birthed. I had no idea what this field was. I had no idea what I was doing, but I prayed and asked God for guidance and he sent my mentor. And I went to that school and I went to IIT. And then that's when everything just really started to shift and change. And I thought, you know what? I can actually, I enjoy this. I can actually do this for a living. And it was just a natural extension of who I am. I love to talk. I love to interview people. And and so user experience is a very new field. I've been working in the field for 22 years and I'm a UX director and I have my own company. And so the technology has just changed so much. Back then we were called webmasters and we did everything for the 8, 9 page sites that we built. But once I went to IIT and I found out about the field, I found a contract with a larger company and I just started using my skills right away because no one knew what it was, but they knew that they needed someone to manage this whole internet thing that was going on, the intranet. So I was a very early practitioner here in the Chicago area. And this is during this is 99, 2000 and the dot-com boom. And they were looking for people like me, like gangbusters. We just made some good money, some good contact, and it was a really good time. But then things got too much with my four kids, and I stopped working, became a stay-at-home mother. And I thought, okay, I'll just work part-time, and I just got really comfortable. And then 8 years later, I found myself going through a divorce, and I had not worked full-time in many years. So I went from being a very comfortable and skilled worker in my field to it was 2008 at the time, so I had to find a job in 2008. Y'all know what happened in 2008. So I had to find a job. I ain't had no job, no real job in years. So here I am looking for a job. And when you talk, you said you really resonated with me when you said you made $38,000 after your doctorate. So here I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna make a decent amount of money. The only job I could find was one that paid me $22.22 an hour in the middle of a divorce, and I had three kids still at home. I had to figure out how to take care of myself and them. Tequila talks a lot about manifesting. And I knew the life that I wanted when I was married and I was comfortable. And because he did well. But I was like, okay, so now I have to build this life for myself. How do I do that? And so I actually wrote down what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. And I started praying on that. And I said, God, I need you to lead me because I don't want to let these girls down. They didn't ask for this situation. I want to be able to help them go to college. I want to help them to be able to realize their dreams. I want to help them to be able to do that without a lot of trouble. And I wasn't thinking a lot about myself at the time. I was thinking most about my family. And this kind of goes to who I am and what I do. And I was happily making music. I also make jewelry and body butter and things. So I was happy as a stay-at-home mother, making my little bit of money and doing what I was doing. But that wasn't enough to take care of these kids. I started looking for a job and I was like, Lord, guide me. So he guided, he took me from that $22.22 an hour job. And then then I got a job as a manager. And then I met my mentor, who was a Caucasian male. And I was working there's a lot of conversation around disparity in salary with Black women and then men. So at the time, he said, you know what? He asked me, he said, I was working independently at the time because that was the way that I could make a little bit of money. And I thought I was doing something, making $80 an hour. I was like, okay, this is good. He said, how much are you getting paid? I said, I'm doing this was like 2009. And I said, I'm making $80 an hour. He said, do you know how much your counterparts are making? And they don't have the education that you do. And they don't know what you are doing. And they don't have your skill set. And I was like, no, how much they make? And pretty much they were making twice what I was making. So obviously he became my mentor and he helped me to earn that and more. And he gave me also the courage and inspired me to start my own business. So that's how I was able to move from $22.22 an hour to the place where I'm now, where I'm a executive at a startup. And I also have my own business that I had to hire somebody to run because of my job, and then making enough money to help my two daughters in college at the same time, to save for retirement, which is something that I didn't know if I'd be able to do, and also dabble in film production. So to be able to produce my own films and videos all out of my pocket to help and just to encourage other women, hey, you can do this too. You can, this creative side, there's more than one way to accomplish a goal or a dream. Not everyone is blessed to be an Erykah Badu or a Cardi B. We're creative and we do our thing, but it doesn't make us that much money. So I found that having my company and having my own stream of income and then being able to support my own projects, and I can employ other people, I can encourage them to do their own, and I can even support other people's projects. I'm talking to a young lady now who wants to produce a film, and we're figuring out how we can do that together. And so that's a big part of what I want to do. And in my job, I also mentor and I also guide young women in tech, because there aren't a lot of us. And then in user experience, especially in research, there aren't a lot of Black women, period. So there seems to be a great interest in us now with this diversity and inclusion. And I get messages on LinkedIn all the time saying, hey, we have this director role, we have this vice president role, we think you'd be great for it. And, I talk to all of them just to see, because I ain't going to turn down the check. Because at some point soon, I want to become work optional, which means that if I get up in the morning and I feel like working, that's good. But if I get up in the morning and I don't feel like working, that's all right too. So I'm at that point, but not quite. So that's what I like to do. But going back to setting those goals and wanting to be able to do certain things for my kids, I was able to do those things just by just keeping it moving and working and having a job and having the business. And then I was like, you know what? I want to have the business full time. So there was a point where I had the business full time, but then things shifted financially. So I was like, let me go back and get this job. Because when you make a certain amount of money, you're used to making that money, and you really don't want any disruption in that in that at all. So just you do what you need to do to balance.